Welcome to the tutorial for ACRIOS GUI, which is used to configure ACRIOS converters. First, you're going to need to have a browser, ideally Google Chrome or other Chromium-based browser. Then you need to head to gui.acrios.com. Now, before I begin, I'm just going to show you that if you want to find this tutorial, you can either head to our YouTube or simply click on Help and Tutorial. And there you're going to find the video and written tutorial for everything. Now that I've shown you this, we're also going to need a converter. I have two. First, this LMD, which is LoRaWAN M-bus converter. And then this NWD, which is NB-IoT wireless M-bus converter. And last but not least, you're going to need this 3.5mm jack to USB cable to connect it. Now I'm going to show you how to connect the devices. We are going to start with LMD. And procedures are actually quite similar for both of them, but there are subtle differences. So that's why I'm going to show you both. First, we are going to connect the cable to the computer and then to the device with 3.5mm jack. Once that it is done, I go to the GUI, I click on connect, and this will pop up. If I've done this already, it will not pop up and it will connect without this need for confirmation of the port. Now I'm going to click on config. And last but not least, I'm going to connect the power source. And as you can see, this LED light is blinking, which is basically telling me that the bootloader is starting. So I can wait for it to finish, but that would take a couple minutes. So instead, I can simply skip it by pressing this button. And as you can see, I am connected. Now I'm going to disconnect. And this means that I can safely unplug the device from the computer. I'm going to place it on the side. And now let's try with NWD device so I can show you the difference. So we're going to follow the same exact procedure. I'm going to connect the 3.5mm jack. Now I'm going to click on connect and config. Finally, I'm going to plug in the power source. And you may be able to see that the LED light is dimly lit, which is the first difference. Whereas with LMD, the LED light was actually blinking. So with NWD, if the bootloader is running, the LED light is dimly lit. And also the second difference is that skipping bootloader actually requires slightly different action. I need to press the button and hold it. And now that the LED starts blinking, that means that I've actually successfully skipped it. And as you can see, once again, I am connected. Okay, now I'm going to show you features which include editing or uploading new Lua scripts. First, we can attempt to read the Lua script. For example, we want to change a single value, or we want to check what is uploaded on the device to begin with. So let's start with this button. We simply press read. And now the Lua script is loading. It's going to take a little while. And here we are. And once you click on read, the script not only opens, but we can edit it right away. This is very nice editor to have. And honestly, it's not that difficult. Let's say I want to change a port. I can simply change it to something like 222, something like that. And now this editor actually saves my progress. So if I accidentally close it, nice little feature is that I can click on Lua files. I can click on device readout history. And here we have the file, and you can see 222 on port. So that's pretty cool. Another great thing is there is a sample repository. So if you're just looking for the basic script, which you want to, for example, modify, or if you want to look how we do it, there is an entire repertoire of mostly latest scripts. So this is pretty awesome. What you can also do is that you can create a new file from the scratch. So let's name it file 1. And just print. Hi. This wouldn't do much, but if I would put in on wake and print hi, it would print hi in the console. But also I can copy this, Control C, and I can click on file and new file from clipboard. And now I say allow, and I'm going to click on file 2. As you can see, file 2 is exactly the same as file 1 because that's what was in my clipboard. So you can just copy your code and create a file like that. Last thing that I can do is that I can click on file. I can click on import local file, and I can simply pick the script, which I have prepared before. And here it's loaded. And here you can see we have 3 local files, which are the files that I created. This is the one from the history. Now note, the file that's currently written on the device is the original file. So if I just disconnect, nothing is going to change. Now you can also validate the file. So I can try to validate the script. And it says source code is valid because print hi obviously works in Lua, but it wouldn't do anything if I actually turned on the device. Now, script validation is mostly useful if you're creating the code directly in the GUI, because this allows you to check if everything is possible to be used, if there aren't any mistakes. Now, keep in mind, if I want to actually just write it on the device, I don't need to validate, because writing also validates the file. I have also some additional options, which is write the Lua script with debug symbols, write only compiled script, and encrypt script with password. That is if you want to protect your script from somebody accessing it. I'm not going to do any of these options, and I'm simply gonna write the new script. Now note that if you do this, the device should reconnect by itself. So now the bootloader is running. So I'm just going to press the button. And here I am. Nice little thing, a nice little feature that we also have is interactive mode. So interactive mode actually allows us to test code in real time, so we can run it directly on the device. I'm gonna clear this out. So first we can just test whether it even works. So we can just print something. As you can see, it printed high. Second thing, we can actually test, for example, the temperature of the device. So we are establishing this variable t, and we ask it for temperature. Now that we did that, we can print t. As we can see, temperature is 21 degrees. So that's kind of nice. But we could also, for example, read out a device. As you can see, currently no device is connected. So let's try that out. I have this Mbus Cybele over here. I'm going to connect it. Not any issues. We'll see right away. And I have this piece of code prepared, which will do a primary address scan. Note that if you want to do something more complex, you still have to use one line, but Lua allows that, so that's pretty nice. Ah, beautiful. So we found this Mbus on the address 11. So that's pretty awesome. So as you can see, it works. So this interactive mode is pretty nice. Just one little note. Make sure you quit interactive mode every time you decide to quit it in order for everything to work all right. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to actually flash in the firmware, even though usually this procedure is not done by the customers. But let's say you want to upload in your own firmware, or you run into some problem and you need to flash in new firmware, then this is going to be useful. First thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure the device is not powered. I'm going to plug in the USB cable into the computer, but not into the device. It's actually kind of important to make sure the procedure is exactly as I describe it. Now I'm going to click on Help, and I'm going to toggle Dev Features. Once that is done, I'm going to click on Connect. And now I need to choose the proper device. In this case, this is an NB-IoT device, so I have to click on NB-IoT. And I want to pick this firmware. Now, to show you, if I wanted to update a device which is using LoRaWAN into all the files, you can see there's FW device. This means that this is a LoRaWAN firmware. I could also show you by clicking Update Firmware LoRaWAN, and again, it's showing FW. So you can see very clearly which firmware is for what kind of communication protocol. But because this is NB-IoT device, we want to click on NB-IoT. We want to select NB-IoT file. We want to click on Open. And now that it's queuing, we can connect the 3.5mm jack. And last step is really simple. We just simply plug in the device to the power source. And as you can see, the firmware is updating. And here we go. And we are also connected to the device because it was successful. So I have connected the device once again, and I would like to actually test out the new feature. Just to kind of point out other things, I've already showed you how to update firmware, and I'm going to do it right away because there's a little thing. But there's device info, which I've already mentioned. But there's a new feature called Emboss Scan. And this one is really awesome. So let's say I try it out. And you can see I'm already having a little bit of an issue because this is using older firmware version, which doesn't support Emboss Scan yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update firmware the same way that I've already shown on this video. And then I'm going to try the Emboss Scan. So yeah. So now I have restarted the device, and let's test the scan out. First, we can check that we have truly a proper firmware version, and I can go and try the Emboss Scan. Now I know that the address of this embossed symbol is 11, so I'm just going to scan through 15 addresses. And we have it. So we have a raw payload, and we also have a parsed payload. You can also click to expand and see all sorts of data about it. This is pretty nice. Now, let's say I want to scan for a specific address. So let's do primary unicast. And let's say I accidentally type 10. And you can see scan finished, found 0 meters. And now I correct myself. I press in 11 to the correct address. And again, we found the scanner. So that's very nice. Now let's say I'm going to disconnect the emboss just to see what's going to happen. Emboss scan. And let's say we have, again, 15 addresses. And you can see it hasn't found anything. Hello there, future me. I have forgotten one vital part. So I'm going to show you how to download the client into the computer. So in case you cannot connect online, you can easily just download the app by accessing it through your computer, pre-installed and everything. All you need to do is to click on this button over here in top left. And now I'm just going to click on install. And as you can see, the application has been installed and it immediately turns on. What you can also do is that you can pin it to your taskbar if you want to. Let's say I do. So I click on yes. And I can close it. I'm just going to show you that it's over here. It's over here on the desktop. So you can access it over there. And I can just open it. And here I am with the entire application. So that's really nice. Also, last but not least, before I quit this video, if you want to find anything regarding the application, you can just go to the tutorial, which can be found here. You can also look at our wiki, which is at wiki.acrios.com. You can look at firmware changelog, and you can also click on about here to see about the version of the GUI that's currently being used. So that would be all for me. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at support@acrios.com.